What's up, everybody? So this video is going to be a visual representation of where I'm at mentally. So to explain this, a long time ago, it was just FIFA, right? And for many years, it was just FIFA. Then came Pro Evolution Soccer, and they had some great years, like some of the best football gaming years there were, but it was just a flash in the pan. Shortly after they did some amazing things, they actually took some wrong turns, and next thing you know, we were pretty much left with only FIFA again, and that stayed for years to come. Now, eventually, Konami rebranded PES, Pro Evolution Soccer, to eFootball, a free-to-play game, and they sort of went in a totally different direction, right? There's not so much that's tied to the old PES days, besides the fact that they don't have all the licenses and they're, sort of made up badges and players and stuff. It resembles the old days, right? But that is my extent of it. Now, those players who are deep into eFootball and have played literally just Pro Evolution Soccer, then into eFootball, might have some more things that are similar. I'm just saying from a casual point of view, there hasn't been anything close to those old PES days where players actually left FIFA to just play PES until they went, like I said, in that direction that wasn't so good and players were essentially forced back to FIFA. Like the game was just terrible after a little while, okay? So, fast forward all the way to just a few months ago, right? And you have UFL, which has been years in the making, and it generated some buzz, but finally, here it is, and it comes after a pretty bad beta, right? There's pretty bad reviews from the players they let, get a glimpse of it. And then you start hearing rumblings that they made a ton of changes. So much so that because FC was in such a bad place, FC 25, again, it seems like years ago, but then again, it seems like just yesterday because it wasn't that long ago. It's just so much has happened, probably because I have the content creator side of it too. But maybe for you guys, it feels this way too. Just such a crazy ride for such a new game, right? And so anyway, if you're an FC player like I have always been, the pre-patch FC 25 was my last straw and was many players' last straw, which is why I'm almost positive we got this huge patch. Never has there been a patch like that in EA Sports' history with FC, with FIFA. And they totally changed the game, and they also have been doing amazing with content, okay? Until these past couple weeks, even the lag was better, but that same old issue did creep in, and it was widespread. You heard it through all the social media, a lot of the content creators. It's just always been a constant thorn in EA Sports' side with FIFA, with FC, the inconsistent gameplay. Literally, there's players that swear you can only play at a certain time of day. There's others that say that don't matter. It's just a roll of the dice, which is what it seems like to me, right? I could have great gameplay at 4 a.m. and terrible gameplay at 4 p.m. The next day, it could be reversed. 4 a.m., the gameplay is awful. Later on that day, it's noon, 2, 3, 4, and the gameplay is great. There's no rhyme or reason on my side of it, right? And still, EA Sports gives no answers. I did a video on this earlier. So you, of course, have that headache when you're dealing with FC because no matter how good the content is, no matter how much better the gameplay is, when you have that server lag, it makes it unbearable almost, right? Sometimes you can just squeeze by, but many times it is literally like you might as well not even play. The skill goes out the window. Any like joy you have in the game goes out the window. So it comes to a point where you're like, why am I wasting my time? Which is not a good thing, obviously. So here comes UFL, and it was great at the beginning, and then they start taking these wrong turns so much quicker than PES did, right? Because PES had some good years. UFL had, I don't even know if it was a good month, right? And things started creeping the wrong way. You had the L1 triangle meta with the L1 square, a lob cross, exploits going on. And then after that came the disconnect issue, and then they fixed that. And now you have this completely broken defense, and the game is just terrible. I mean, each part of this game had rats, but it got worse and worse and worse. And now you have sit in the back with 8 players. You attack a broken defense, much like EAFC was at its worst. And then on top of that, once the team counterattacks you and goes up 1-0, you might have had 12, 13 shots on goal to their 1. But once they get that one break and score, most of them start passing around the back. So it just adds insult to injury. So it's totally not worth playing, in my opinion. Now, there are some subscribers that have tremendous patience, and I have a lot of respect for that. I truly do, that they can still play that game, knowing it's terrible, knowing it's broken, but still they're like, we aren't going back to EAFC, okay? Some of them are like, no way, and they've already went back to FC, and others had said, I'm done with UFL, but I'm just not playing football, right? In comes eFootball. And so I have some people that I respect that also are playing UFL, but are big eFootball players. And I went ahead and tried eFootball, and I love everything about what Konami has done, right? They created a totally different game. It's a unique experience, right? Now, is it tough to learn? 1,000%. I am getting destroyed over there trying to learn it, because you have to unlearn so many years of, the FC way. And even with UFL, they pretty much did a carbon copy as far as controls, right? And then the way Konami went, I would say, isn't as much manual, where like in FC you can do the player lock and the making runs away and calling players to and things like that. But you absolutely have to have skill in finding the correct pass based on the AI runs. And then on top of that, every player has like skills that they have, and you have to utilize those in the right way. And then you can add skills in certain, scenarios, as well as get different players. Like one Mbappe will have this boost, another Mbappe will have this boost, right? That's something I noticed. Again, speaking from a casual level, but I can give you an example. I had like 2 different Lewandowskis, 2 different Messis, and each one was just a little bit different, but you had to click into the player and like read what those differences were, and then you choose the best one based on, how you play and what you want out of that player. So those kind of things are awesome, right? Whereas like UFL came out and they pretty much had a completely barren menu, right? Aside from some silly stuff with skins that could be great, by the way, but they don't really add much of anything besides a vanity effect. And other than that, just a few little challenges. Their customization is great, but you need way more than that, right? They have their meta players like your Haalands, your Mbappes, your Van Dijks, all max out at the highest rating, which is 91 in UFL. And then you can boost players similar to what you can do in eFootball. It's just in eFootball, you can go out and sometimes get maxed out players, but in other like promos, if you will, because I don't know the proper name. That's what we call it in FC, right? Certain promos, you have players you can still boost or players that are maxed out already. UFL simply has, the players, the top ones are maxed out, and the ones that aren't at 91, you can boost them to a 91. So then the end goal is like get a full team of 91s, which pretty much at this point, everybody who's been playing the game, even, not even just all out, but just on a casual level, has pretty much 91s now if they've been playing it from not even early release, just regular release. So they're going to have to do something there, which let's just say 100% they'll do something good with that, reset the player ratings, whatever it is. The gameplay is what's killing UFL. eFootball, in my opinion, the gameplay, it's definitely not an FC. Overall, you have to say FC's king, but with the server, how it is, or the servers, being inconsistent, making the gameplay like how it was this weekend, there's a lot of players that are going to say no way, because you get that non-stop. So if that's back, because it hasn't been there really. I'm not saying there hasn't been some lag games here and there since, I came back from, after the post patch. But for the most part, that delay has been gone. So eFootball, I never experienced lag. UFL, when it's bad, it's really bad. But then, honestly, I can't say that I've had it as much as FC, but it's kind of biased because I've played FC for years, right? So all of that is just seeped into my head. All those bad experiences, I know just how bad it can be. So you see here, I'm just jumbled in my head with all of these different games, the good, the bad, and it is very difficult to play all three, right? And then provide good content for all three. Now, is it possible? I absolutely think it is possible. However, the route that I want to go is helping players who aspire to get better at these games. The only way to do that, you have to keep up with the meta, okay? You have to keep up with the different aspects of the game that are changing, the different players that are more important to utilize in different metas, things like that. And obviously, the best way to do that I've been doing it is as a player, I am climbing the ranks and I'm at a level that a lot of players aspire to get to. And so I provide that information, and then it helps players climb the ranks too. In eFootball, I know I can do it, but the difference would be as I'm actively climbing and learning all these different things, right? I'm sharing it. So people are literally climbing with me as opposed to, okay, you did all this. How can I climb? Here's what I did here. Here's what I did here. Here's how you can get better on defense, on offense. Here, you're now in Division 2. Here's what you need to look for now that players didn't necessarily do in the lower divisions, like stuff like that. But you definitely can't do that as good when you have 3 different games going. So I just wanted to put this out there just to let you know where I'm at mentally. I know I can do like a split schedule, and that's probably what I'm aiming at now. But I also wanted to get your feedback because I can't just look at every subscriber. And it's not just the subscribers. I know other people who aren't subscribed watch the channel too. I can't just know exactly what everybody wants, right? And I'm sure it's not going to be a perfect 3-way split either, right? There's just no way. So what do I do then? Do I do, 30% coverage of each game? Do I do, up to this point, it went from all UFL to adding in FC post-patch to now adding in eFootball. And the reason why I added in eFootball is just simply because with everything I'm seeing from UFL, I just know players are going to... Some players already won an alternative for one, and I think more and more players will. Now, by the grace of God, maybe strikers can change their ways, get back on the right path, and I'll cross my fingers for that. I just don't have confidence in it based on what I've seen. Okay, so, but at the same time, I don't 100% want to point people to eFootball yet because there still is that pay-to-play thing that people say is terrible in eFootball. Some say even worse than FC, and I've sort of witnessed it. Now, I've competed with some very strong teams, right? And I'm brand new to the game, so I know it's possible, but I'm also still in the lower ranks. When I get into the higher ranks, will it become too impossible to just, compete with the team I have? I also looked into some of the prices, and to get some players isn't outrageous, not like the top of the line players like Nick Runs the Foot Market did an experiment where he spent $200 just to get the big bad Gareth Bale that everyone wanted. And the way they did it, I guess they give you a probability. So eventually you're essentially guaranteed the player, just instead of saying, here, give us $200 for Gareth Bale. They have you keep opening players, when you put more and more money in, but that's essentially what you're doing, right? And that's me speaking from just in general. I might have missed some details in there, but it was something like that. Basically, though, I know for a fact $200 was spent. Let's just put it that way. That's a lot of money for one player. So my point is, I'm not 100% okay with endorsing eFootball yet. There's a lot of good there. I've heard a lot of good things. There's some good content creators too, not American content creators, but English-speaking content creators that I've followed that I like. And the game just has a certain aura about it, as does FC, just because of the nostalgia and because it is still the king overall. Let's just be honest. Nothing beats FC football. It just doesn't. Even with all the bad stuff, eFootball is its own experience, but it's not better than FC. That would be crazy to say, right? Just like when UFL came out and it was just more space defensively and more free flowing, and people are having fun. Even like when Nick Runs a Full Market was playing and all these different players gave it a go, it was just fun to play, which is very important, don't get me wrong, but in no way, shape, or form was anybody going, this is better than FC, okay? If it was going to crush FC, it would have simply been because FC didn't update their gameplay and everyone was sick of the broken defense. However, now UFL has went that route, and, who knows if they're going to fix it. I can't believe they've let it go this long. With that being said, I just wanted to kind of give you a little dive into where my mind's at. Every time I'm making videos, every time I'm choosing which game to play, it's like a crapshoot, and I need to change that. I need to get some sort of organization going on. Some of that will be based on the direction UFL goes, because if they throw themselves out of the equation just because it's such a bad game that eventually no one's going to play it, or very few players, not enough to even do content on, okay, well then that's that. If they do go in the right direction, which as much as that would make it harder on me, I would hope that they do that because it's just better for football gaming. So we will just have to see where that goes. And then other than that, I guess all I'm hoping for is your feedback. If I could just get a general idea of what content you want to see. I already know I've seen some comments, and I still will, where this, a few players, it might even only be one commenter that says, I want eFootball like I saw earlier. But then 30 people that are on a stream are wanting FC, right? But then it could be 50 people that stopped in and saw I wasn't doing UFL, and they just didn't say anything, but they wanted UFL. I just have no true bearing. I know as far as my content goes, I started with UFL, and of course that's like the foundation of my channel. I just have to be prepared, as does everybody, for UFL to not, get fixed. Because you can look at the socials. I put it in my Discord channel the other day. Every comment is negative, literally. If you want to give them a bone, you would say 1 out of every 10 is just like, hey, who should I pick for the wing? Most of them are like, deleted your game, never playing your game. Your game's terrible. Fix this or I'm done, just negative, negative, negative. And even when people are mad at FC, you don't get that much negative. It's terrible. So the writing's on the wall without a doubt, just from the player base side of it. It doesn't matter if they have tons and tons of money coming in, which I don't know if they do or don't. But if you don't have the player base, it doesn't matter. You could have all the money in the world. You have to put the product out there to get the players to play. So with that being said, let me know where you're at. Do you play 1, 2, 3 football games? Are you just getting ready to be totally done with football if UFL doesn't make it, like that was your last shot? Have you tried eFootball and just don't like it? Because it's definitely in its own lane. Just let me know what you think, because I tried earlier. I'll just say this before ending the video, is that I thought about starting a fresh account with eFootball, knowing that many of the players, if they are done with UFL, are going to be starting like just downloading the game straight from Division 10, and I given the game 2 other goes. So when I came back this time, I'm already like Division 6, 7, whatever it is, and I got a team full of, free-to-play players, but I have my Mbappes, my Haalands in them. I built up enough GP to buy the best, free-to-play players, if you will, whereas everyone else is going to be starting from scratch. So I wanted to get that experience. I wanted to see how that went, and it could be a good idea to just use that account and build up literally just like anybody else downloading the game and giving it a go for the first time, because a majority of players, if they come from UFL and give, eFootball a try just because they want another free-to-play game, that's what they'd be doing. However, it just adds just another thing I'd have to do, and then do I get rid of the other eFootball content? I don't know. I just need some feedback, and we will see where we go. No matter what, there's 3 different football games to play. There will be football content. That's without a doubt. It's just right now I wanted to give you a little glimpse into where my mind's at. I don't have any true direction on what everyone's liking the most, right? Especially because with UFL, a lot of the talk lately has been on all these issues, as opposed to actually playing the game. Even the tactics became a point of negativity because I had asked, do you want the rat tactics to win or do you want for fun tactics? The comments I got back were like, there's so many rats. Basically, everyone just give us those so we can, try to get W's. I throw those out there, and of course, there's people mad at that. There's other people that can't stand that that's the way the game is. And look, I get it. I literally tested them out. I provided what will be the best for Showdown, and I dipped. I didn't even finish because it wasn't worth playing like that, even for me. I just released them because I asked, you guys answered, and I gave you what you asked for. Simple as that. But it's not really a game that has, is screaming, hey, we're going to be here for a long time when this is the case. Even the tactics used for your game to the meta is, a negative or people don't like it. So with that being said, let me know what you think. Maybe a fresh new eFootball account. Maybe continue on my path with the eFootball account I have with Mbappe, Haaland, all these guys. Still grind UFL and just act like the game's not broken. Go to FC or just kind of roll the dice and play whatever I want each day, and you guys will just follow along. I'd love to hear what some different people are thinking about that. And thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. This journey just started, and it feels like it's been forever. And you guys have been awesome. All the feedback, all the comments, like it keeps me going. And I appreciate you guys. Literally, mean the world to me. Promise you content will continue coming. Like I said, I just wanted to vent, give you a glimpse of where I'm at, and just put it out there that any feedback on what games you're playing, what kind of content you'd like to see, it would be much appreciated. Keep grinding, keep having fun, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.